Welcome everyone. My name's Elizabeth Johnson. This is Michelle Santos. And together we have co-created this amazing masterclass. Over the next 3 days, you will be delving into so many different amazing ingredients. You will be delving into spices as well as supplements that you've probably never heard of before. Our goal is to make this as easy for you to understand and as easy to implement. Michelle, welcome.
Thank you. Yes, so as Elizabeth mentioned, we put together this beautiful menu for the spring, and we're highlighting ingredients that are warming, light, and that will help you reduce vata and kapha, which is the air quality, and the earth and water elements in the body.
Okay. So one of the things that we have in our masterclass is a tea. It's a digestive tea called CCF. And CCF stands for cumin, coriander, and fennel. And we also like to put a little bit of dehydrated lemon zest in here. I wanted to explain to you how you would drink this particular tea. This is an easy tea for you to make. The recipe will be in the recipe guide. But basically, you just take you take about a tablespoon. You put it into a small French press, and then you simply add water. So here we go. As you can see, I'm just adding water. And you're going to let this steep for about 3 to 5 minutes. A couple things about this tea. This tea has so many different applications. So the CCF tea is made from cumin, coriander, fennel, like I just mentioned. If you would like to add some fresh lemon or lemon peel to it, you're welcome to do that. You can drink it warm, but you can also let it cool down and drink it at room temperature. And if you have a vata imbalance or you have digestive issues, one of the things that you can do is once the seeds are rehydrated after you've already steeped them, you can go ahead and chew them. And when you chew them, it gives you a little extra added value in terms of your digestion. So here is the CCF tea. And this is going to be the tea that you start off your morning with, okay? So this, again, is our cumin, coriander, fennel tea. Now, one of the other things that we've given you, a lot of people have an issue giving up coffee. And so we have a beautiful dandelion coffee. This is a herbal coffee made from dandelion root. There's nothing that could be more simple. And you do not have to steep it the way you do the CCF tea. All you have to do is take a tablespoon. You're going to place it into a glass. You're going to add a little bit of hot water. And if you would like to add some of the golden milk that we have in your cleanse, you're welcome to do that. But I promise you, there is such a thing as placebo, okay? And if you really think you cannot live without your coffee, try this in the morning because it really does trick your body. It smells like coffee. It tastes like coffee. And the bitterness is actually really good for the spring season because in the Ayurvedic calendar, spring and winter are basically collapsed into one season. We have 3 seasons of the year. We have summer, fall, and then winter, spring. Michelle, can you tell us a little bit more about why bitter is so good in the spring?
Yes, so it's actually, so think about what happens in nature, right? Not in Texas, but in the upper parts of the United States. We have snow melt, so that is also happening in your body. You have excess liquid and density that you've accumulated during the winter season. Even though it's a light season in Texas, it does still occur in your body. So now it's melting and it's actually accumulating in your body. So congestion, sluggishness, digestion, bloating, all of those things are happening right now. So our body does really mimic nature in the same way. But bitter will actually cleanse out the liver. So it's very, very important for you to introduce bitter flavors during the spring season for that reason. The liver is the filtration system in the body, and if that's clear and cleansed, everything that's been accumulated will also be optimized and moved out of the body. So with these two, you're actually targeting specifically that with the CCF and also the dandelion tea.
Can you talk a little bit more about the detoxing effects of the CCF?
Yes, so we have cumin, which is slightly heating, coriander, which is cooling, and fennel, which is cooling, but it's actually scraping together. So it's pretty much tridoshic, which means it's balancing to the 3 doshas, vata, pitta, and kapha. but that has a scraping effect, and it also creates downward movement in the body. So if you're having a problem eliminating and removing gas from your body, that is very, very helpful. So
Definitely. One of the another hack with regard to the CCFT, if you're ever traveling, having the CCFT with you is really good, because when you go up in an airplane, it's very disruptive to your digestive system. So I never leave home without it. And we've given you some small jars with your cleanse, and we're hoping that you can reutilize those and that you can make your own CCFT and then take it with you when you are away from home.
Yes, and I've recommended for an acute bloating, I've recommended before even taking a tiny teaspoon of that with the ingredients without hydrating them.
Okay.
If you're traveling and you have an acute bloating circumstance, you can do that. You can spit them out or swallow them. We recommend just extracting the oils and then spitting out the seeds.
Another thing that you can do, this is yet another thing that we can do with our CCFT. So you can take the CCFT in a dry form, in a mortar and pestle, and you can simply make like a dry rub out of it. And if you feel like you need a little extra horsepower in terms of your digestion, I recommend just simply making this into grinding it up and then having an extra spice blend that you actually physically put onto your food. Okay, so that's yet another thing that you can do with this amazing tea, right? And that is the CCF. The next thing that we're going to talk about is something called a churna, and a churna, spelled CHURNA, is something that people aren't really all that familiar with. I like to equate it to a bouillon. So imagine that you had an herbal bouillon that would be medicinal, kind of like a supplement that you would have before you actually eat your food. And so so I wanted to kind of dissect what's in our churna. So we have something called pipali. Pipali is also known as long pepper, and it's a very this is a very popular ingredient in the Ayurvedic kitchen. It's really good for the kapha season. It is as the name suggests, it's part of the pepper family, but it has like a little bit more of a mushroomy flavor to it. We have black peppercorns. We have pipali, which is the long pepper. We have ginger. We have hing, which is also known as asafoetida, which is a very digestive substance used a lot in the Indian kitchen. We have 2 types of cumin, and we have our pink Himalayan salt. Those together create this trifecta, which is really amazing. This is going to be the churna. This is something that we make in-house at Farm Table. We actually, and so this is going to be this herbal digestive bouillon, and we recommend that you take this churna before every meal, before breakfast, before lunch, and before dinner. And if you are somebody with a vata imbalance, we also recommend that you have a little bit of ghee. So in the morning, when I get up, the first thing that I put in my body is a little bit of ghee and a little bit of my churna, okay? And we recommend about a half teaspoon. Michelle and I both have different doshas. She's kapha, I'm vata. And of course, we're never always the same. So you don't have to stick to that, half teaspoon. If you feel like you need a little bit more, you can do that. But we recommend that people start with, a half teaspoon or less, just so that they can get used to it, because it is kind of spicy. Mm-hmm. So if you're not used to it, we don't want you to overdo it. And then you just simply add your hot water. Okay. You add your hot water, and then you go ahead and you mix this up. This is about a 4-ounce glass. So right here, what I've done is I've mixed maybe about 2 ounces. If you find it to be too spicy, you can always add more water, but I like to go ahead and have it be a little bit more concentrated, because I find that the effect is better. And Michelle, can you describe to us the purpose of the ghee in the Ayurvedic kitchen and why we add the ghee to this particular mixture?
Sure. So as Elizabeth mentioned, I am a kapha, she's a vata, so I don't require as much ghee. Just wanted to mention that as someone who is a vata or pitta. And the reason is because my body naturally has a lot more fat to it inside of my tissues. But essentially the ghee is a vehicle for the nutrients to be delivered to deeply in the tissues in Ayurveda. And while she uses it every day, I use it sparingly every other day. But without this vehicle, the tissues might just go through the digestive system without actually entering the deep tissue. So
the spices would not enter.
Right. And it's deeply nourishing. It's an ojas builder. So in Ayurveda, ojas is basically the substance in your body that increases your longevity. So you want to obviously make sure that you have plenty of that in your body for your health and for your longevity as well. And this is ojas building. So it's a staple in Ayurveda, and it's very important to be used daily. So if you are Vata or Pitta.
Okay, so I just want to recap a little bit here. So we have gone over we have gone over a couple different things. At the beginning of our video here, we talked about our CCFT. This can be drank at any time of the day. We talked about our coffee placebo, which is going to be our dandelion coffee. We recommend that you have this in the morning. It is caffeine free. You could technically have it at any time of the day. We just know that some people have a custom of having coffee in the morning, and we feel like this helps people. Mm-hmm. This right here is going to be, this is our CCF, and this is what we want you to have prior to every single meal. Okay? And last but not least, we have something called Triphala or Triphala. Okay? This is a combination of 3 Ayurvedic fruits. We have given you 3 tablets that you are going to have per day. So these are the tablets. We recommend that instead of just swallowing the tablets, that you actually put them on your tongue and you allow your body to actually taste the 5 out of the 6 flavors that are inherent in this digestive blend. And I'm going to ask Michelle to talk to us a little bit about the purpose of Triphala. We've given you 3 tablets, so each day, right before you go to bed, about an hour before bed, you will take your Triphala.
Yes, so as she mentioned, so it's composed of 3 fruits in Ayurveda, and each fruit has an effect on each one of the doshas. So one of them has an effect on Vata, the other one on Pitta and Kapha, but essentially this is a tridoshic tonic. So it's not something that will just help you eliminate. It's not a laxative. It's not habit forming by any means. But this actually scrapes your body. It helps them remove the mucus. It helps actually cool down the body as well, and then remove any excess bloating. And it's doing that deep in the tissues overnight. So that's why we recommend it being taken overnight. So it's basically doing all the work for you overnight as you sleep. And it's also a part of absorption and assimilation. We not only focus on digestion and elimination, but also making sure that you're having the nutrients to come into the tissues, as we mentioned. So it's a staple in Ayurveda. I take it daily. Elizabeth takes it daily. Cannot stress how important it is for longevity and health overall.
Yes, because it doesn't just help clean the colon, but it helps clean really all of the organs in the digestive system. And it also, as Michelle mentioned, it helps remove heat from the body. And if you suffer from headaches, as I do, it's really important to remove that excess heat. And so I find Triphala to be incredibly valuable. Mm-hmm. So at this point, we have gone over all of our supplements and teas that you have in your 3-day cleanse.